Mujewale, Mujewale, Mujewale. My name is Bantu Clan, and welcome to another episode of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Yes, sir. Welcome once again to the Ugandan Boy Talk Show, and I'm so excited. We're having back-to-back interviews with some of the Ugandan artists. And today we have none other than Buka Chimey, and he's the
Yeah,
artist.
man.
He's the artist that sang the song you can hear in the background. This song has all the vibe.
We got the whole Joe.
Hey,
I don't know Nokudono.
I don't know Nokudono. Someone to pay Muraga. First give us some raga.
I don't know Nokudono. Zasimanye na kumanya. Wait, I don't know Nokudono. Zasimanye na kumanya.
All right. I'm so excited that back-to-back weeks we're hosting some of the Ugandan artists here on my podcast, the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. And thank you for listening today. We are hosting none other than Buka Chimey. So to begin the show, I just want to ask you, how did you come up with the name Buka Chimey? And what does it mean?
Buka Chimey, well, my father gave me the Chimey name.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then while I was doing my research, I landed on notes saying that the natives of Canada were blacks and they were the Buka tribe.
Okay.
So that was so strong and something I got an attachment to. So I chose to take on the name Buka.
Oh, yeah.
Because it means black man. Man.
That's a good one. I like that one. I've been listening to your songs and I've been seeing you on social media, and I've always wanted to get the time to ask you what the name means. And I know most of your fans in Uganda, most of your fans in the United States, and all over the world, like they would want to know like what the name means. But the way you described it, I think it's a good name. And now I know what it is. And so I'm so excited to have you on the show and have you on this podcast. Thank you for giving us this time to come on here. And I did this podcast or this interview for me to get to know you and for my listeners to get to know you. I have listeners from Uganda, I have listeners from the United States, and all over the world. People listen to the podcast. So we're so blessed to have you on this show and to get to learn more about you. So the song I've been playing in the background, and you're gonna be hearing it in the podcast. I don't know Nokudono. I want to start with that song because it's caught my attention. How did you come up with the idea to get that song, and how did you get inspired to write it?
Well, growing up trying to learn the white man's language, it was really hard. So we used not to say the words right. So one day I asked myself a question: what is the meaning of, the translation of Simanyi na Kumanya in English? And we couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
So I decided to say, when I broke it down, it was like, Simanyi, I don't know. Nakumanya, we couldn't find it. So it was like, Nokudono. That's how so it literally means, artistically means Simanyi Nakumanya. I don't even know.
I don't even.
You get, but artistically, it's I don't know Nokudono.
Yeah.
But, rightfully, it's I don't even know.
Yeah. When I listened to that song the very first time, I was like, this guy just takes my memories back to high school. Like he just explained. Like when we're in school, they force us to speak English and you don't know the translation of something. So you just do a direct translation. And that's why I hated this song. But it's really a good song and it has all the good vibes. That's something I wanted to get off my chest right on the beginning. But we're gonna talk.
Also, while we was creating the song, we thought about what we go through on a daily, because we are living in tough times. We had the first lockdown, and now we have the second lockdown. A lot of people are fighting the troubles they are fighting financially, mental health. They are struggling to live day by day. Yeah. So we decided to put those troubles on a happy beat. You get, not to make people sad while listening to this, but remind them that, yes, we have the problems, they exist, but we need to be happy. to forget, because in the end, music is a therapy. So we didn't want to like spell out the problems and keep people sad. We wanted to spell out the problems and still give them a smile, a reason to smile.
Yeah, because I know one of the lines you're saying there, like, or something like that. Like the landlord wants his money, but I don't know where the money is coming from. You know, I don't even know.
You know, the line says the landlord wanted his money, and I had the money on mobile money.
Yeah.
So I wanted to send him the money. I instead bought airtime. You get, so instead of transacting, I bought airtime by mistake. So you want to pay rent and you've by mistake use the money to buy airtime.
That's very funny. Like somebody who is in that situation too can listen to the song. I was like, oh, that really happened to me. And instead of being sad, they just laugh at themselves. So yeah, that's
and you're like, really... airtime, and no one buying airtime.
So Buka Chimey, what are your real names? Like your birth given names?
I think let me introduce myself. Yeah. Zebandeta Solo David, Nimusada Musoga, Nevumambogo, Nimwise Igaga, Nsibuka Luka, Ewadada Ngumugenzi Gastafas Gabazira, Afumvue ise bantu kyabazinga.
Okowachi muna.
Ndio kukalamu baba. Okobotya.
Ndio. I don't know.
Yeah, but for the people who do not understand the language, I am called Musolo David, aka Buka Chimey. I am a Musoga. I'm in the Eastern tribe of Uganda. Yeah, a musician, a performing artist, an activist, a youth mentor, and a recording and a performing artist. Yeah, basically that.
Nice.
I guess I've said it all.
yeah, you did. I was about to say that's a very nice introduction, and I think our listeners will like that, and people who didn't know, now they know. Yeah. So you mentioned about the lockdown, and during this podcast, I knew the president had put the first 42 days, and then when he came to address the country, he said he doesn't count the first one. So we are starting another 42 days. So tell me about that. How is that affecting you and affecting your music?
I think the president spoke like a teacher, yeah, who tells you that I'm going to give you 20 strokes. So he hits you 5 and then you touch and it's like, I'm not counting that.
Yeah.
You get back in primary. Hey. You get, of course, me personally, growing up in spaces of challenges, I learned the fact that I do not look at the problem. I do not consider the problem. Once the problem hits in a snap of a finger, I start thinking about the possible solutions of the problem. Right. I think we as creatives, and me personally as an artist, I'm taking time, one, to clear my mind. Clear my mind of the negative energy, and then also draw a structure of who I want to be, where I want to be, and how I want it to happen. It's important. And also, for all the time I've been a musician, I've not created a body of work. So I'm taking time to create an EP or album during this lockdown.
Right.
And I'm going to release non-stop music. You get, I'm going to release non-stop music because we understand. I asked myself a question that if I was a farmer and then a season comes of, pests eating the crops I am planting, yeah? Do I stop farming or find a solution to farm and deal with the pests? So I won't stop giving my listeners, my family music, because it's the only therapy they have during this lockdown. Yes, and I also urge my fellow musicians to not think about the problem or when the entertainment industry will be opened or when the pandemic is going, and start working within the pandemic and find solutions of feeding people with music with the pandemic. Because to be honest, it's not going right now.
Right.
Let's pray, because this feels like we've just gone back in the times of Moses, where the plagues knocked in, and the Egyptians. Yeah. So let's pray for better days. Most important, we have no control over this, but let's pray for better days. Let us train our minds to keep positive, to think positive, and let us be creative during this time. If it means if it means sorry, if it calls for you to take a break for the 42 days just to clear your mental state and to clear your mind, do it. If it takes you 42 days to clear your circle, do it and enrich your circle with, the rightful heads that you need in there. If it's going to take you 42 days to, start up start up a business, do it. Recently, when the lockdown knocked, I started studying the music law. And guess what? Right now, with the partnership of Bantu Productions, we started Bantu Pro Records to address the issue of copyright that we, the musicians, have been struggling with for years.
Right.
Because everyone in the entertainment industry and the big heads never talk about this. And when they talk about it, they don't come from an informed space or perspective. So they never have a solution. Someone says, the problem we have as the music industry, copyright. And you ask them, define copyright. Right. And they can't define it. Yeah.
Right.
You ask them, okay, they say UPRS. But UPRS is just a collecting society. You see, it's not a copyright enforcement society.
Right.
So I took time and studied that. I enrolled with Berkeley University. I'm actually still studying online. Right. Yeah. But then I'm doing this to, support and grow our industry. So my lockdown is fruitful because I'm still investing in the growth of my business, which is the music business. All my life, the only thing I know is the music. Yeah. I can never write a CV asking for a job because I'm a musician. I am the business. Why would I write a freaking CV? You get? Right. So I urge my fellow musicians to think straight, and not only just musicians, all creatives and everyone all over the world, to think beyond the problem and also think out of the box. There is the new normal coming.
Right.
And we have to embrace it. Yeah.
That's a very, I don't know, you say those words perfectly to educate, to inform, to encourage, and to just let people know, those who don't know, like there's no perfect way I could have said those words, but I'm sure those who have ears will learn a lot from what you just said. And here you're using the pandemic as something to benefit, like you've explained very well, like you use it to your good, like to benefit you, to learn, to do more music. And on that
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, yeah? Basing on the statistics, yeah? The number of streams rose by 200%. The number of music streams worldwide rose by 200% during the lockdown. So, and we all know that the streams and downloads translate into money.
Yeah.
You get, so it's simple. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And like, this is the time where, like you say, the musician can be making money, like streaming music. And you talked about releasing an EP or like doing more music in the lockdown. I've listened to most of your songs, actually, I think all of them. And you sing about like current events, things that do happen in real life. Like, how do you see, like, is that your way of like kind of music, like you want to do, like if something happens, like there's a song about it and like it comes right out?
Not really. When I was starting out, I actually formed the first hip hop band in Uganda. It was called Bantu Clan, Brothers Alliance Navigating Towards Unity.
I think I remember that.
Yes.
I was still in Uganda.
Yeah, so I had a brother from Bale doing Lugisu. I had a guy from the Central doing Luganda. We had a queen from Zimbabwe. She was doing Shona. We had a guy from the West doing Ruchiga and Runyankole. We hip hop as a culture, we address what happens in the society. So that's my background. And with the band, we got to perform to almost all festivals in Uganda and exhausted them. So we asked ourselves the question of, so what next? Then we started falling off, one by one falling off. Some of my colleagues started up individual solo careers. Others dropped out of music. Others, I honestly don't know what's happening with their lives. Yeah, so I decided to switch up my sound. If you dug my music from way back, I have house music, I have folk music, I have boom bap music, I have laid back R&B, I have the dancehall vibe. You get, I've literally done almost all genres, because right now I'm at a point of experimenting. I haven't even yet discovered my sound because I'm having fun experimenting and learning these different styles and cultures. Yeah, addressing what happens, the situations that happen in our society and in our country is something that I am entitled to do as a citizen. And when I tell you what my life purpose is, my purpose is to restore my generation, to reconnect to its indigenous roots through creating, building, educating, and archiving. So, mulimu gwange addressing these problems, mulimu gwange switching a mindset to someone who's thinking negatively about life. It's my job to switch their mindset. And it's my job to create a better Uganda. So talking about the current situations, you see, there's something they say that ancient culture, modern solutions. But times have shifted. So you can't tell me to sing about the future or the past, yet we have a troubling present. You get it? We have a troubling present and you want me to vibe to the past or the future. So just futuristic. I'll be futuristic in what I do, but I won't be futuristic in addressing what our community and society is facing at the moment.
Or singing something that is imaginary, that's not there. Like it's not even there. But anyway.
People do that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I say that.
I just don't come from that background.
Yeah.
And I love addressing problems with happiness.
So I
just like when people at the first lockdown, I told them, Vimbia lockdown biru mabayaye. Bino bye biru mabayaye.
That's where I was coming. That is where
I was literally telling people. I was literally telling people. You're surviving. Vimba, embrace yourself. That's the moment of
I was actually going to ask you about that very song. Like that's where I was going when I was starting to talk. So you sang the song Oyiru Mabayai. Now, I think at this point I know you as a good English translator. Like you translated that song. I don't know Nokudono. So Njagalo, I want you to tell us, like, how can you tell it to somebody in English?
In English? Man, truth is, I don't know good English. That's the fact.
What hurts
So if you ask me to translate that word, it is what pains the what?
The reason why I asked you the question, I was like, I was trying to think of it in my head. I was like, but I'm sure we can come up with something.
But the context, the context is whatever hurts your haters or the frenemies. The haters, the frenemies. So do whatever hurts them.
Yeah, actually, that's
what they don't want you to floss.
Yeah, that's what I think in my head, like things that hurt your haters. But it was actually mainly a joke, like to try and come up with something that doesn't exist, because I don't know how you call Abayai in. I mean, I know, but it's kind of not the translation that you put in the song. Like, I think they call them like thugs but that's a different translation to the song. Like if you say things that hurt your thugs, Wabedanga, they would be like talking about bad people, like people who are terrible. But like I know. I mean,
the word can be used in different contexts, and also as a creative, I have to use a language and words and vocabulary that is within the people that people can easily connect to. Right. So that word was really easy for someone to connect to in the context of the song.
Kati, but like now you introduced the song. Actually, that was my next song I was gonna ask you about. You introduced the song Evilu Mawayai. How did you come up? I mean, you've talked about it a little bit, like talking about current situations, like things that go through somebody's daily life. But like on top of that, what was behind your head when you released Evilu Mawayai?
Well, first and foremost, I knew it was a hit record. It was a hit record. when I put it out. And I want to thank the guys behind the production of Biru Mabayai, Cookie Magic Hands, and then was mixed and mastered by Brand Beats Chikube, who is my official producer. Yeah. When we were at studio, yeah. So this guy sleeps in studio and wakes up and is like, I made a beat for you. When I listened to the beat like this, I told him, this is a hit, straight up, nothing more. And I told him, let me enter studio. So we recorded it right away, mixed it and released it right away. Then when we released the audio, it got good reception, yeah? Because of the nature of instrumentation, the choice, the lyricism in it, the art of lyricism. And when I was writing the song, I used the art of nursery rhymes, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't complicate stuff. Vimbie lockdown, biruma bayaye. Bino bye biruma bayaye. Sasudelandiro di biruma bayaye. Bino bye biruma bayaye. Naguze nenziga gwe biruma basunzi. Bino bye biruma bayaye. Basically few words, but using the art of nursery rhymes. That omuntu yena they can grasp it right away. Yeah, man.
That was a good song actually. When it first came out, I was listening to it a lot. And it's the real life, like like somebody's gonna hate you because you have a new car, you pay your rent on time, like things like that. But yeah, that was
definitely do.
I'm with you on that was a hit in Uganda, and it's still something that you can play even today, and somebody will not sit down in their chair, they will stand up and sing. And I know you've done a remix with Angela Katatumba of the same song. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Before I tell you about that, Biru Mabayaye was a big song in the Ugandan community in the USA. Because they kept on sending me videos of them vibing to the jam. Yeah. And also I work with a production house that is also based in Boston, Bantu Productions. I'll large up to the man there, Mr. Timothy Chizito. Yeah. So he kept on telling me, I'm in church and the pastor is using Biru Mabayai. I'm here and guys are using Biru Mabayai. So the song hit and also the slogan hit. Yeah. And then what prompted me to do a remix with Angela Katatumba were two reasons. One, the song was redone. The idea was redone by another artist.
Yeah.
And then the media came up on us. Yeah, you know, Ugandan media, what it does. It's not all about building, it's all about breaking. So one, I got Angela on the song because after listening to all Angela Katatumba's music, I noticed and realized that none of them has explored Angela's vocal range and vocability. So I was like, you know, if I got Angela on this record, we can't give people a different vibe. And guess what happens? I called up my homie, Mose Writer, who also co-wrote I Don't Know Nokudono. Yeah. And then I told him, you know what? I want to have Angela Katatumba on the record. Can you write her verse? And the guy in a few minutes wrote the verse. Angela Taudi is a nyimba. She doesn't listen to demos. So like if she says I'm gonna do this, she just comes to studio, grasps whatever she has to grasp, and it's recorded right away. And we gave them a straight fire because we gave her lyrics and she was like, yo, I cannot sing this. I cannot talk about being young, rich, and famous. My mom will kill me. We told her, but it's who you are. So embrace it. And she's like, let's do this. That's how we came up with the remix. Yeah.
I listened to Angela. I listened to Angela's verse, and I think I'll put in the background of this where we're talking about. But like she was spitting words like on, and they were like flowing. That song was
fire. We blessed Mukama Feya to wanyo. Chivinyo buyaga boba kubanyo. Stress-free life is a bonus. They can be like us, so them haters. They all got nothing to tell us. We young, we rich, we are famous. That was a punchline.
Yeah, that last line was the punchline. We young, rich, we're famous. And actually, like from what we've been talking about, like the currencies, because I know I follow some Ugandan music, and I know Angela was in the media of like who she is, how she grew up, the things she. So like you making that song, like it's something that happening, and he was able to express it in the song. So that's a good idea. Of the, you said you were doing all genres. You don't have a specific genre of music. You're still exploring all your talents or anything.
I have a genre.
Okay.
My primary genre is rap. Yeah. And then because I am a rapper, and if you listen to my records, I am a rapper. But then I choose to define my kind of art as a fusion of multi-genres. So with my primary genre, which is rap, I can marry it with dancehall, I can marry it with house, I can marry it with reggae, I can marry it with folk, I can marry it with Afrobeat.
Okay.
So that's just a fusion. It's called fusion.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will agree with you, because listening to your song, like the way you flow, like it's more in the rap genre of the music. But so there's another song that I really liked, and you said on the beat, it's called Beer After Beer. Soko tuwemu kapela kan beer after
beer after beer. Beer after beer. Wait, beer after beer after beer after beer. Wait, wamulambez. Hey, yes. Hey, once upon a time, nyingi de chibala, sente zaweze nyingi de kujoga, wachali basomye bisekigwe bya nyiri de abafa papa bisekigwe bya kola fako, sente bazima sa wachali gwe bali na mane basawo basomye binyo amikula.
One thing
as a vibe, man.
One thing I'm gonna tell you right now is I like the way you enjoy your music. Like you can tell when you're singing it, you yourself enjoy what you're doing. Like you enjoy your songs, you enjoy your music, and that's why even when the fans see you enjoying your own music, they'll definitely fall in love with the song. So you were gonna tell us about Beer After Beer.
Yeah, Beer After Beer is a song. What can I say about the song? It was my first ever hit record.
Okay. Yeah.
And crazy bit of it is it first hit out of Uganda before it came back to Uganda. So it was big in Rwanda, it was big in Kenya, it was big in Namibia, it was big in Zambia before it made it back home. And when it made it back home, it was a seal-off. It'll be Corona because the record was just growing, yeah.
Right.
But I thank God that people still receive it and people still enjoy it. And I remember I was trending in 2 countries at the same time. I had a Twitter thread of Ugandans, and also had a Twitter thread of Kenyans at the same time. The Kenyans, because it has a phrasing from the Sailors Wamlambez song, which says Wamlambez, Wamnyonez. The Kenyans were like, this is the official East African anthem. You get? And then the Ugandans were like, this is the record. Because when we put out the song, we first put it out with a dance video by Chamuka and Chamula, and then Wembley. Yeah. And when we put it out with a dance video, it had funny characters. They were specifically staged. People thought we are going to have dancers with bottles and, you know, dancing, the usual dances, but we had guys with dirty jerry cans, empty bottles, not beer bottles, but, you know, these plastic bottles of mineral water or anything. We had a guy in the background minding his business, just lifting weights. So these guys, the Ugandans, were just, everyone was talking about a certain character in the dance video. So I was trending in 2 countries on the same day, at the same time.
Nice.
And then, boom, I get a copyright claim on my YouTube. Because, I mean, I was trending. The song was trending. Every time I could refresh my YouTube, I would see 500 views. You refresh 1,000 new views. You refresh 200 new views.
Right.
And then I got a copyright claim from Striker Entertainment. That's Big Trill's, big up on yourself, Big Trill and Striker Entertainment. So when I got that, I played it simple. But to backtrack a little bit, when I did the record, and I remember recording it on a Sunday, Sunday morning, and released it at 4 a.m. That's into Monday, 4 a.m. in the morning into Monday. We released a short clip of 30 seconds on WhatsApp. And then by 10 a.m., the clip was viral. So I get to my phone and I write to Big Trill. And I tell him, you know what, bro? I did this, but I didn't do it to harm your brand, or I didn't do this to, infringe on your copyright. Because I did sample a bit of Big Trill's beat. However, the idea of party after party comes from Pastor Sempa, who was on NBS and said, girls of these days or youths of these days are all about party after party after party. So that's the genesis of party after party. So I just got Pastor Sempa's words and changed them from party after party to beer after beer. And then sampled a bit of Big Trill's beat. And in hip hop, sampling is allowed, but with consent. With consent. So when I did that without consent, and then it instantly went viral, I wrote to Big Trill a very professional message on WhatsApp because I couldn't access him. And I couldn't access his record label's email. So I wrote to him and it was received, read, but not replied to. But I thank God I played my role as an artist who respects the craft of a fellow artist. And also verses from verses in Beer After Beer are verses from my old song called Sente Diriwo. So I was like, nah, I ain't writing anything new. Just grab those verses, put them in Beer After Beer. So from my old record that was produced by Zoli Tams called Sente Diriwo.
I'm glad you explained that to us and to the listeners, and probably the listeners who are in Uganda who didn't know the message behind that. But I'm glad you opened that up and talk about it, because I was going to ask you, when you listen to Party After Party, it's almost like the same beat, some vibe, but at least I've got to listen to your side, and I don't hold anything against you. And I'm glad that you did what you're supposed to do. It's time to let know the other party about what your plans were. I enjoy the song. I like the song. And I think that people who enjoy their beer, they also enjoy the song. I was actually reading online, and I asked, what's the drunkest place in the whole world? And they said Uganda. So
Uganda.
Uganda people drink their beer.
I forgot to tell you about something. When the whole world was locked down, so a group of people started up a movement called Chop Off Worldwide to unite. This movement was created to unite all beer drinkers across the world. So you buy a beer, pour it in a glass, and then drink it nonstop until you empty the glass without putting it off your mouth. So, and then you had to do that while playing Beer After Beer in the background. So it was the official anthem for the Chop Off Worldwide, and it was the official anthem to unite all beer drinkers across the world. And when you go to their page, their Instagram page, Chop Off Worldwide, you will see different beer drinkers doing their chops.
Right. I think I saw a few of the videos on your social media, and then on the internet too, people doing challenges on that song or playing in the background while they're drinking their beer. So I like all the songs that you listen to, and people relate to these songs. That's why they go viral real quick in just a second. So,
and I'm also cooking up something new. I'm also cooking up something. It's gonna be out in a few days.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you wanna reveal that on the podcast, or you want to just keep it low?
Disco.
Disco. Got it.
Disco.
I can't wait for that.
I'll send you an exclusive.
Okay.
I don't have to be on the show again, but I'll send you an exclusive for you to play for the listeners before its actual release. Yeah.
Okay.
Got
it. So I'll choke it. So anyway, who are the 3 most influential people in your career or in your life?
3, but no. My career has gone through phases. Yeah.
Okay.
And different people have added value on the journey. Yeah. But one, the first person is God. I'm a very prayerful person. I pray so much. I fast so much. Whenever things go wrong, I turn to God. So whatever has happened in my career, God has paved the way and God has made it happen. I can never do anything without him. And then the second person is my father. My father was a law practitioner by profession. But before that, before practicing the law, he was a DJ back in the days of cassette tapes and vinyls. So he didn't close the doors for me. He let me be what I want to be and invested time into me becoming an artist. And also I started up as a DJ working for my father, and then later and shifted into the music. So my dad comes second, and then in between there are a lot of people, yeah. But then I also have a godfather right now called Mr. Timothy Chizito. He lives in Boston at the moment, Boston, Waltham. He runs Bantu Productions in Boston, but we also have Bantu Productions in Uganda. Okay. And also to backtrack and give you a little background of who Timothy Chizito is, he's one of the idea bearers of Kasiukira. And if you listen to songs like Doleyo Mwana, Bebekuza Wete, he produced the records. So he nurtured lots of musicians. I mean, the Misa Tsemakulas before they came, who they are, the Chameleons, the Ragadis, the Geoffrey Lutayas, they all call him Papa. So he has been an influential figure in the music industry, and he still does. So he's my godfather. I am a son to him. He always gives me all the tools to grow, and he challenges me to do stuff. You know, he's the kind of guy who told me, I want to make you a star. And I was like, okay, so I thought since he's in the US, I'm only going to receive dollars on my account, and everything is going to be smooth. So he's like, give me one song, I'll make you a star. And I recorded the song and sent it to him. He was like, okay, nice. And then he kept quiet. So I got pissed and I was like, what's happening? He told me, give me a second song, I'll make you a star. Same thing, give me a third song. And then I got tired. So I got angry and he noticed. And then he told me, you're bragging about 3 songs, give me an album and you see what I'll do with it. So he's a person who has not given me a tree to pluck leaves from, but he has taught me how to plant the tree. Reality.
Right. And that's why everybody, like, somebody won't just hand you something. He will teach you how to, like, he won't give you a fish, but he'll teach you how to fish.
And he always gives me a hard paper.
But anyway, yeah, I know I give you a limited amount of people, because if we decided to start talking about people who have influenced your life, we might even spend a whole show just talking about individual people. But there's one person that there's one person I'm gonna ask you to talk about, and I saw this on your social media a while back. It's Maro. Can you talk about Maro and how he has impacted your life?
R&B Chabazinga. Oyo Muganda wange. Maro is my brother. And when I walked into Maro's space, I used to follow him on. It's funny how dreams come true. Growing up, I one time landed on Maro's song, I think around 2013. And I was like, Musoga Chona Iba R&B what? The song is called Beware. And I was like, I have to work with this artist. Then I was just fresh from high school, I was like, I have to work with this artist someday. So I kept following him on Twitter, you know, reposting his work, sharing his tweets and stuff. If he has a concert out, I share the artwork and stuff. So, and then we shared a mutual friend who I asked that when they meet Maro, let her tell Maro about me, and we schedule an appointment, which happened. So I go to Maro's studio, volume up, listens to my music. I listened to his album then at Watch, which wasn't released yet. I was like, we are going to work. And I was like, oh, okay. Told me, I remember it was a Friday, and told me, let's work on Tuesday, 12 p.m. I was like, okay, cool. So by 12 p.m., he was around the corner in the neighborhood asking for further directions. Why I give so much respect to Maro is he helped me switch from the underground hip hop to the mainstream music. And my first mainstream record features Maro. And he knows that, and he's a person who has always supported me, and he has always kept me going. That's why I said that you asked for 3, but then in between there are lots of people. who have greatly impacted my career.
And it's always nice to reflect back to see the people that have laid their lives there for you to keep going higher. And I always like that. I like giving credit where it's due to all the people that have helped. And I'm glad that you've mentioned. And for all the people that you've not mentioned, it's my fault because I asked you for just a few people.
But it will be no good for me to talk about my producer, Brand Beats. He's one of the top producers currently in Uganda. If you've listened to Sango, if you listen to John Black, Xavier Alagirwa, if you've listened to Palazzo's new record, if you've listened to Palazzo Bruno K remix, I mean, he has done a couple of songs. He's a guy I worked to at the time when I was almost giving up on music.
Like, who is your favorite all-time artist or musician?
That is the toughest question I can ever face. Like, it's the toughest question. Off the head.
I'll make it like you give me your top 5 artists. Maybe that'll make it easier.
I don't have. I honestly don't. I listen to a lot of music. And my influence comes from a lot of music.
Right.
So I'll wake up with a vibe of listening to music from to listening to rumba of the 70s and the 50s from Congo. And I'll do just that. And I'll love that music for almost the entire month. So, I mean, I don't have my favorite.
I think
I don't.
I'm the same way. I'm a kind of person who listens to any kind of music. Like, it depends on the mood. Like, I wake up with a different mood. Like, I want to listen to hip hop. I want to listen to R&B. I want to listen to slow music. But yeah, I thought since.
However, I love listening to blues.
Okay.
I love listening to roots reggae, dub. And I love listening to African music starting from the 80s and below. 80s, 60s, 70s, 50s.
Nice.
That's the kind of sound I would vibe to anytime, any day.
All right. So the other question that I will not forget. No, it's not a question. I mean, it's kind of like a question, but I will not forget is like, do you want to tell your the listeners your social media platforms so people can connect with you, follow you? What do you use social media wise, and what's your username, and how can they get connected? And I'll make sure I put that in the description of this interview.
Yeah, well, the people, the listeners, and the people who are going to watch this, they should know we just switched position. And I wanted to take you guys around our studio. I'm in studio right now. We don't sleep. And 2, before I even spell out my social media handles, 1, I'll ask everyone to support each other emotionally, financially, mentally. Let's spread love if you can. I mean, yes, there's social distance, but if you can call up a person and check up on them, please do. People are going through a state of depression and a state of mental slavery and mental enslavement and mental declination. I don't know whether oluzungu njogedde lutuufu naye nga tuyambe tubeererewo bannaffe. Let's be there for one another. Let's be there for one another. Let's call up our friends. If you have something that you can support someone with, support them. Na neighbor ogenda omugulira ekyokulya kitegere meme gabaga bena agejjanga. I mean, let's spread love. This is going to come to an end. We are going to muscle it because in the end we are children of God. So he has the best in and life will have to move on. But during these tough times, who have you helped out of the problem? Let's do that. Let's stop being selfish and only spread the love. Then my social media handles, I use Buka Chimey everywhere. Buka is Buka, and then Chimey is Chimey. I think the British would call me Chimey. They would prefer to call me Chimey. Yeah. But on all my socials and and I asked you all to stream my music and also download my music, because the more you stream my music is the more I'll also earn a living and also be able to create more music. And also don't only stream my music, stream all Ugandan music. Mwagiraba na Uganda, every musician's music, just go and stream and support all Ugandan musicians. Shekate supporting a Buka Chimey yeka. Muganda wange Crysto Panda jali naye akola music mu supporting bazexinch 10 birangirangi ba Gerard Chiwewa ba Kadongo Kamu. Let us support all Ugandan musicians and all musicians across the world. Yeah, man.
That is great. And you mentioned a few things I usually tell people or remind people on this podcast. The motto of my podcast is we rise by lifting each other up. And that's exactly what you just said. Like, for us to rise, we need to carry on somebody else or help somebody else. And you also mentioned, hit on something that's really on my heart this whole week about people in Uganda, like your neighbors, people who are affected with COVID. People can't work, they're in lockdown, and it's really tough for them. People go through mental health or mental issues that you just said. So make sure you check up on people and make sure they're okay. And I'm glad you reminded me to say that. Now we're coming to the close of the show. And I have one question a signature question I ask everybody that I host on this podcast. What gets you excited about life?
Living it positively. And seeing everyone wear a smile. One of my tagline is celebrating life. So whatever I do is all about celebrating life. And it's also all about triggering emotions. So, and if I told you why I sing, I'm a musician because I'm here to celebrate life, express consciousness through touching emotions. That's the reason why I do music.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is amazing that you even know why you're doing what you do. So most of the things I've learned, most of the things I've continued to like about who you are, your personality, and the love you have for other people, and like wishing other people to be successful. Somebody would come here and just promote themselves and what they do and don't care about what others do. But here you are, you're telling everybody to check on another person, or you're telling everybody to stream another person's music and just support everybody. So I appreciate about you. Is there anything that I've not asked you that you do want to say on this podcast?
Yeah, maybe one or two. One, I was part of Empower Africa, an initiative by Mr. Easy. I was actually the first pick from Uganda. So, and I learned a lot because we closely got to work with Mr. Easy's entire team. Yeah. And in the process, we got to learn a lot, and the same knowledge that I share with my people. And it is the same knowledge that has helped me enroll for a course in the music business, in the music law. Yeah. What could be the second one? Chota you get deko. The second thing is this is going to come to an end. This is definitely going to come to an end. Yeah. Personally, being raised by the community, I care about my neighbor, my immediate neighbor, and the farthest neighbor. So let us send hug emojis to everyone. You're not alone. That's all I could say. That's all I can say for now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Buka Chimey. And if God allows, next time we'll have you here on the show about something or anything. I've enjoyed having this interview with you and speaking with you. And I want to appreciate your time, sacrifice that you've given to us. I know in Uganda it's like midnight right now, and you sacrifice an hour to just sit down. So thank you very much.
Man, I had to do this. Yeah, I had to do this when I actually saw your notification on my IG. So I decided to follow you right away. I don't know. We meet people that affect us, yeah, positively or negatively. But once me I connect with, it's all about a vibe. Once I catch a vibe, and when I check your timeline and it's all about positive vibes, we vibe. Yeah. Right. So thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, thank you for letting me talk to your audience and share my experience with your audience. And anytime, any day we can vibe. And when things get to normal, we'll just give you guys a show live because I always have my people around. Yeah, we'll just give you a show within our space. Let me just switch my camera a little bit, yeah, and show you the space. You see that? Nice. So the space is really, really well equipped. Yeah. It's well equipped. So we'll just give them a show live on Zoom.
Yeah.
And live on your side. Yeah.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Hey there, I am Bantu Buka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for a new episode about my podcast. And for more information about this podcast, follow me on my Instagram page, talk_show_256.